Your Royal Highness, thank you very much for joining me. We're here today talking, of course, because of your friendship with convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to clear some things up. He was a guest at Windsor Castle by your invitation in the year 2000. Yes, but you have to understand that I didn't invite him. You didn't. No, I invited his girlfriend and he came too. Right. You threw her a party, is that correct? I wouldn't really call it a party. What would you call it? A hunting hootenanny? When Epstein was a guest at Windsor Castle, we now know he was procuring young girls. Yes, that's known now, but obviously back then it wasn't known, so it was fine. And you had no idea? God, no. When I was at his houses in America, there was no indication, absolutely no indication. And if there was, you have to remember that I was working with charities at the time to help stop abuse of children. So I think, He was released from prison in July of 2010, and within months you went to stay with him again in New York. Why were you staying with a sex offender? Yeah, I think ever since people found out that I did that, I have also questioned whether or not it was the right thing to do. You have? Oh, yeah. I mean, why did I go? Was it okay? Are there any reasonable excuses to explain why I did that? These are all fair questions. But the thing is, I went there to see him, to tell him that I would not be going to see him again. You went to see him to tell him that you wouldn't go to see him? That's right, yeah. I guess the problem is I'm too honourable. Too honourable? Yes, so we went for a walk in the park and I broke up with them, and that's actually that's what was caught on camera, was me doing the right thing in an honourable way. You were invited to his party as a guest of honour. No, I don't recall that. You just said you were there. You mean, that 2010, of course. I wouldn't call it a party though, as much as a gathering. And you claim you had no idea of what was going on, even though there are multiple videos of Epstein with young girls? Yes, well, I never actually saw any young girls there, and if you did. Well, it's like King's Cross Station. All the younger people coming and going, so I didn't sort of see what... One of Epstein's victims has made allegations against you. Yes. She says you met in 2001 when she was 17. You dined together, you danced together, and then you took her back to Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend's house where you had sex with her. Well, I don't recall ever meeting her. You don't? No. I've never been to that club. And every time I have been, I've had no idea where the bar is, so how can I be buying drinks? It's ridiculous. How can you be sure it didn't happen if you don't remember? Could not have happened. No? No, because on that actual day, the specific date, if you will, the 10th of March 2001, I was at home with the children in a Pizza Express in Woking. Why would you remember that? Someone reminded me. Of course. Are you sure you don't remember dancing with her? Because she doesn't seem confused at all. She even distinctly remembers you sweating profusely. Well, that's where the whole thing just falls apart, isn't it? Because I don't sweat. I can't sweat. Well, that is to say that I didn't sweat at that time. You couldn't sweat. God, no. Because I'd actually used up all of my sweat in the war that I was in, which I think we should be remembering. And it's only through a tireless effort on my behalf that I was able to relearn how to sweat, that I'm able to now do so. Is it possible that you had sex with this girl just on a different date? No, because that whole period of time I was in Pizza Express, I mean, you named the date and I was chomping dough balls. I mean, she described it all in great detail. Are you sure you have never met this girl? It never happened. She provided a photo. Yes. Of the two of you together with your arm around her waist. Yes. How do you explain that? Well, it's definitely me and her and her, but we never met. And although I don't think we can prove that it was photoshopped, I would like to I question if that was really my hand. Your hand. Yes, it's obviously my face and body, but is it my hand? This photo we now know was taken by Jeffrey Epstein himself. Was it? Yes. Well, if I remember correctly, Jeffrey didn't ever actually even own a camera. So why would people not believe this? Well, for starters, that photo was taken upstairs in that house, and I've never been upstairs in that house. Then how do you know the photo was taken upstairs? I can't swear. Isn't that wild? She also said she was trafficked to you in New York. Well, I was not in New York at that time. A witness at the house saw you there. Well, I guess maybe I was, but that's the funny thing, actually. I was staying in New York, but outside of it, you know? I'm sorry, in New York, but not in New York? Yeah, somewhere else. Is it possible that you had sex with a young girl trafficked by Epstein in one of his residencies? No, I mean, I did, I tried to think, you big idiot, but no, I mean, when these allegations first came out, I remember thinking, oh, that's strange. I don't recall that sex happening. Odd. How many times have you visited his private island? In total? 4, maybe? 4? Well, he was there a lot, so I suppose if I wanted to see him, then I might go, but it only ever, like a fleeting visit, or if I was going somewhere else and that just happened to be on the way. Multiple people have said that you could not possibly spend time around Epstein and not know what was going on. Listen, there may have been young girls. I don't know. I don't see age. You don't see age. And you have to understand, I grew up in a palace, so I just assumed they were all staff. Even so, you'd notice hundreds of young girls around Buckingham Palace. Oh God, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you'd assume I would notice hundreds of young girls around Jeffrey's house as well, and I never did, so they can't have been there. Right. Not when I was there, at least. I mean, he might have changed his behaviour when I was there because I'm so honourable, and he obviously knew that. When did you last see his girlfriend? In the summer, actually. Even though he'd just been arrested? Well, summer. When was he arrested? I think actually I'm remembering now it was early spring. Epstein is now dead. Yeah. Yes. Woo. Do you have any regrets or guilt or shame regarding your relationship with Epstein? No. Well, I mean, did he conduct himself in a manner unbecoming? Yes. Unbecoming? He was a sex offender? Yes, well, I was being polite. Why? No need for rudeness, not when you're honourable. Your Royal Highness, thank you. Thank you. I think that went well. Do you think Pizza Express is still open?